Hello, my keto community. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, living this keto lifestyle that I love for so many reasons. Anyway, somebody had asked me about, I had mentioned Dr. Jason Fung's assistant who was interviewed, and I could not remember who the person interviewing her was, but she's this young, sweet woman that you would never imagine could have been overweight, pre-diabetic, metabolic syndrome, just 80 pounds extra on her little 5'2" frame, PCOS, a mess. And so she went to work for Dr. Fung, and she wasn't even old enough to drive. And he was wet behind the ears, fresh out of his medical school. And they've been together for 18 years through thin, thick, and now they have their own clinic. And but Dr. Fung specialized in kidney disease, which of course, could lead you back to needing a keto lifestyle. But Dr. Fung's real philosophy is fasting, intermittent fasting, fasting for long periods of time, and everything else. And he's the one that says, I see nothing wrong with a fatty drink, and it's more like fat fasting, although in the clinic they would never recommend that to their severely restricted patients. They take only the sickest of the sick now into their clinic, but they're developing an online program to help people globally with all of their metabolic issues. And so I was trying to remember who interviewed her, could not remember, and then the keto God provided me. Now, these three that I'm going to show you right now, her name is Megan Ramos, and I don't know why it's not focusing. And this is the Keto Fest 2017, which they held in July in Connecticut. So if you Google, this is how I found her to be exact. I'm not Google, but in the YouTube search, I put in Keto Fest Megan Ramos, and this is what popped up. And this is when she spoke for almost 43 minutes, and Dr. Jason Fung was in the audience, and she spoke about her journey and now what the clinic's agenda is if you work with them. This is also the Keto Fest 2017. This is probably the introduction to their 3-day Keto Fest. It's about 14 minutes. And this is the Keto Fest interview, switching it up with Megan Ramos. And that was 4 months ago at the Low Carb Breckenridge. And let me see if there's anything else that's Megan. Oh, so this is where am I? Episode 2, Fasting for 55 Days, IDF Clinical Director Megan Ramos. And she tells her story on this one too, and that the name of their company is Intensive Dietary Management out of Toronto. And some of the things that she was saying, in case you just want the Reader's Digest version, is that she said that Toronto is the most diverse city in the world. And so they have plenty of people that come from religious backgrounds where they're used to fasting, and this isn't a big deal for them. And so the tough part is dealing with the carbs. And so at Dr. Fung's clinic, Megan will put them on a fasting regimen. And so not to worry so much about what they're eating, it's when and what their windows are like. So it's kind of fascinating. And I am becoming to believe that intermittent fasting is such a huge part of getting your body to a place where it can heal and you can begin to tolerate things like dairy and other things. Not that you're going to learn how to tolerate carbs. There's still, sorry people, there's still no grains, sugars, fruits, things like that. But for the severely carb addicted, she said they do a 1 week carb restriction, and just to kind of get them used to what will follow before the fast takes place. So it's all fascinating, and I totally believe in it. And of course, so many of us come to the keto lifestyle from so many different places. And I came from standard American diet to Weight Watchers, which to me is the mini standard American diet, to the low carb, high fat, no grains, no sugar, no fruits, to keto, which was lowering my carbs even more so. And there was a brief week in there where I think I had gluten-free in between the Weight Watchers and the low carb, high fat, but I wouldn't even call it part of the journey. It was just something that I spent hundreds of dollars buying low carb, gluten-free things that I ended up donating to the food pantry at a church here in town. So anyway, so the interview is very nice, and she's a charming young woman. She's lost the weight, and so when she gets the disbelieving stares at her clinic with new patients, and then she tells them, "I'm one of you guys," then she gets some street creds from it. And so we all get here the way that we get here, and we all stay here from joining up different podcasts or Facebook pages with a community that practices what they preach, and also we practice what they preach too. So it's been great learning new people, finding new people, and I binged on Chris Kruger yesterday, and he's a fascinating high energy. If you're wondering what he's about, and I hope that this is meant in the compliment that it is, that Chris Kruger reminds me of Primal Health, the man that no longer lives in the United States with his family, and he also has a big following, and the two of them are kind of high energy. You can do it, very, very buff men that have that same energy level, and I love that energy level, and it's not me. Somebody commented to me early this morning when I was reading it, and she said that I feel like I'm sitting with you sharing a cup of coffee, and I do try to make my podcast more mellow, and so you can get that screamer that has a lot of what is in my philosophy, but I just am a more calmer, older woman here, touting consistency with the food you choose, the tracking, the weighing, the measuring, and continuing with whatever lifestyle you have, with the caveat that you're always willing to listen and maybe incorporate something, tweak something, eliminate something, just all in the name of your personal, what works for you, keto lifestyle. And I love that part. So I'm filled with Megan Ramos today. She's just got a nice message. I hope you can afford the 42 minutes to listen to her, or the Keto Dude's interview with her. I'm sure that's just equally as fascinating. That one was 4 months ago in Breckenridge. I believe they're both under 50 minutes. So it would be a nice investment of your time to see how Jason Fung's clinic does this. And they took a leap of faith when they began this clinic 2 years ago. And I love it. How could they be anything else but successful? I'm sure they're busy from the beginning to the end. And she gives all different versions of fasting. And although I do fast with my 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of my food feasting window, I do have a bulletproof coffee in my fasting stage. So I am not just a water with salt in it kind of gal. So when I have my bulletproof coffee at 3 a.m., between 3 and 4, and I don't eat again or I don't eat for the first time until noon, and my last meal or my last bite was 4 in the afternoon the day before, I've got 20 hours under my belt. So to have that one cup of coffee with some coconut oil or butter in it is, and then one more cup of coffee with 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream and a half a tablespoon of butter or coconut oil is what I'm having in the 9 hours that I'm awake before I take a bite. It works for me. My weight fluctuates between the 2 pounds. I lost a pound between this week and last week. I only weigh 1 time a week now. It seems to work for me. I'm very happy with where I am. I didn't weigh this since the 4th grade, and I was as fat then. So it's a different kind. Well, I also weighed probably 30 or 40 more pounds in the 4th grade as all of my hormones started surging, and I developed very young. I began my menstrual cycle at 9, 4th grade. Same thing with developing my bosom. I was like a full-grown adult in the 4th grade. It was probably traumatic. I certainly was teased, but, it is what it is. So anyway, years later, I ate at them. I sure did. You're not going to hurt me. Pass the M&Ms, pass the Cheetos, pass the can of frosting. Yeah, they didn't hurt me. Pass the cookie dough, uncooked. So I had my coping skills back then. Maybe you guys did too. But for today, it is the keto lifestyle. And I'm having my big A salad tonight with plenty of added veggies, which, are not starchy carbs, but they are carbs. I count them all just to see where I'm at. I seem to be hovering at around 25. I really like my energy level. Maybe those 5 carbs worth of veggies are the difference between just a bit of fatigue and feeling superb, feeling at my prime. Who knows? I don't know. It is what it is, and I go by my energy level and, yes, the scale once a week and my pants, my pixie pants. So that's the deal here. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Press the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Please comment. I love new people commenting. I love my standard favorites, the ones that have been with me for a long, long time, from my Weight Watchers days like Birdie. I can't do it without you. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Sarah. Tune in again. There's a SmackDown coming. Bye-bye for now.